What up guys, this is Chris with Gyroid 3D, and if you ever wondered how to turn a photo into a 3D printable model, today I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. Let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is go to ChatGPT. I already have it up here. So it's chatgpt.com. And if you have an account, go ahead and log in. If you don't have an account, you can use it for free, but you're limited to so many options. The first month's $10, which is what I'm using right now, and then after that, every month's $20. Not sure if it's going to be worth it for you. It depends on how often you use it. So we're going to go to this plus sign right here, add file, or photo in this case. We'll go to add photo and files. And this is my desktop folder, and right here we have a picture of me and my family at the airport. And it's just like a shoulder, chest, and head piece, but we're going to ask it, we're going to prompt it to create cartoon character of me. And let's hope that it doesn't ask me too many questions. Sometimes it'll just generate, sometimes it'll ask you more specific questions. So I'm going to go ahead and click this up arrow to create cartoon character of me. And it's going to generate. Okay, it looks like it's working. It's creating an image. And that's good. Sometimes it asks you endless questions. Do you want, how do you want the pose? And I would recommend, if you want a specific pose, specific outfit, definitely be specific. But I'm doing this for demonstration purposes, so I'm not picky on how it looks. I just want to generate I know what I forgot. I forgot to say full body. So as you can see, it generated half a body just like that. So we can always go back, ask anything, where it says ask anything, and we'll write make cartoon full body. I definitely forgot to write that the first time around, so I would write that. Make sure you write that, because you might be limited to how many times you can prompt per day. Since I'm paying, I kind of have more, I wouldn't say unlimited, but I have a lot more chances to generate prompts. So it says finding the right vibe. And it gave me jean shorts, but hey, I'll take it. So sometimes I have problems saving this. Let's see if we can download it and save it to my computer. Let's see if it saves. Now when I do this on my laptop, on my cell phone, I have problems saving it. So what I'll do is just screenshot the image. Okay, so I have the image. It's saved here on my desktop. So now that we have a cartoon of me, we're going to leave ChatGPT, and we're going to go to Meshy AI. MESHI space AI. And with Meshy AI, I actually have an account as well. I think I'm doing a trial, and it is probably worth having. I believe I'm paying, I think it's $10. Can't quite remember how much I'm paying for it, but This is Meshy AI, and you can use it on your cell phone as well. So if you get pop-ups like this, go here to maybe later. And we want to use image to 3D. It's this first block right here, image to 3D. Click on that. And then up here in the left, now you'll see I already generated. This is the version I made on my cell phone. But I want to show you on a desktop. So go to click, drag and drop. We'll left click on that. We'll choose the latest generated image that I just generated. And then we'll go over, we'll go down here. It'll usually ask you to name it. So I'll just name it Chris Cartoon 2. And down here we'll go to generate. Now the good thing about this software is it already knows what to do. It knows to turn your image into like a model. So you don't really have to tell it what to do. Now there is a text to 3D option, and that's sort of like ChatGPT. You just tell it what you want it to generate, not without using an image. Here we have an image, so we're using image to 3D. It knows what to do. You just name it. That's all you're doing is giving it a name. The name has nothing to do with how it generates. It's just giving it a title. And over here on the right, you can see it says Chris Cartoon 2, so you can find it. We're at 69%. So when it's done, it will show up here in this box. You can left click on it. Okay, it's done. So we'll left click on the model here, and you'll see it generated a model that looks nothing like me, but you know, I think it'll do better on certain people than others. I never wear jean shorts, but we're gonna go with it. So if you wanted to generate the logo on the shirt, you'd probably have to use some kind of a decal or paint it on. You probably could ask it to generate it. I've never done that before, so you're gonna have to experiment. But you know, if you wanted to take a picture from a JPEG to a ChatGPT generated AI cartoon into a model, here you go. So once your model's open here in the middle, in the view window, you're going to just go right down here where it says texture. And it's going to texture it. And that it'll generate, so right here you're going to go to texture, and it'll generate it over here. So it'll give you your raw model, this gray version, and then all it's going to do is color it, just to give you an idea of what it would look like fully colored. And you'll see some of the other ones I've done here with my cousins. The gray model versus the colored textured model. And at first I thought it was going to add texture, like bumps and, you know, texture to the model. But it doesn't add texture. All it really does is add color. And it's not going to do it. It's not going to print that way. So if you go and try to 3D print a textured model, it's still going to come out whatever color filament you put in. It's just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So right here we have the gray version, the plain version. If you just want to print yourself, well, this is how it's going to print anyways, until you get into an AMS system and hand pick what you want colored. Here we go. We're going to left click on this new textured version, and it's just going to give you here an idea of what this would look like colored. Now it doesn't look it doesn't look, depending on what angle you turn it at, the shirt doesn't look solid black. But you know, it gives you an idea. So if you wanted to paint this model, if you wanted to let your AMS do all the work, you're going to have a lot of waste if you try to, if you try to paint everything exactly like this. So what I did with my models, I printed them out in this version, the gray version, and I just hand painted. So actually what I did was I printed all these models of my cousins in a skin tone. So everything's like a beige. So at least the skin tone is colored. And then I went ahead and painted the shoes, painted the shorts, the shirt. So what we're going to do now, if you want to 3D print this, you like it, it's perfect, I want to print this, we're going to go down here to this down arrow, this green down arrow. We'll left click that. And this is your download button. But first, we want to go to format. Make sure to save this as an STL. An STL is ready for 3D printing. Then we'll click download. Now if you want to resize it, you can. When I made these other ones, they were at 100%, they were probably life size. So I had to scale everything down to 10% of what it generates at to give me like a 7-inch model, a 6 to 7 inch model. So if you want to go ahead and dial in the height, here's where you would do that. So you click on this resize. Right here it's in millimeters. So you can pick centimeters, meters, inches, and feet. Let's go with inches. And we can dial in 6 inches. We'll just write 6. We got the inches. And we got STL. And we're going to download. Allow. Now up here in the left corner, you're going to see it. You're going to see it downloading. Show downloads. And we'll go ahead and left click on this. And you can see here's my STL file. It's saved to my desktop. The next step is opening it up in the slicer to slice it. Okay guys, my slicer is Bambu Labs, so if you're using Cura, it'll work the same. So I do have Cura. If you have Orca Slicer, it'll work the same. But I'm going to start with Bambu Labs, and then I'll also show you loading it up in Cura. So assuming that you guys are already familiar with 3D printing, I opened up my 3D printing slicer. I'm using Bambu Studios. And what I'm going to do is open up my Meshy AI character. So I'm going to open up my flash drive. And I'm going to just drag it in. So there it is, guys. There's my 3D printed model that I just created out of a photo. Took it into Meshy, turned it into this model, and from here what you're going to do is there's actually different options you can choose. So what I did when I made the model of my little cousins, I have some tan filament, and I went ahead and printed the whole thing in like a skin tone. So if you have a skin tone filament, you can use that. That's what I used. If you don't, you can print this in any color and you can paint it. So choosing more of like a skin tone as my number 1 in my AMS. This is pretty much how I print them. Of course, it's not this exact tone, but whatever filament you have, it's going to be around a beige color for the skin tone. And then what I did with some of my models, I painted the shoes white, just because, you know, there's a lot of white in the soles and the laces and everything. And then let's say there was some black in the shoes. I just went ahead and painted in the black by hand. So the ones that I sliced, I did the shoes in white, and then the rest of the model was like a skin color. So then I would hand paint the shorts or the pants, hand paint the shirt, hand paint the hair, the eyebrows, the eyes, and if you have a smile, you could do the teeth. So from this point, you would go into your supports. You would make sure to choose, I would choose tree supports and threshold angle. I usually go like 24, 25, just so it's not too much material, and then slice. Now you can mess with the settings if you want more of an infill. I have a 15% infill right now, and I like to do a trihex infill or gyroid infill. And that's pretty much it, guys. Once this thing is finished slicing, you're going to go to print, and you're going to make sure you have, you know, good adhesion on your build plate. But, you know, that's something for you guys to figure out. And there it is in Bambu Studios. It's going to take 2 hours and 36 minutes. It's supporting the chin here. It's supporting underneath the shirt, underneath the shorts line, and probably the fingertips on at least one of the hands, because this other hand is in the pocket. And you know, this isn't too bad for supports. Now if you have a kind of pose where maybe your arms are straight out, like one of my cousins, I made him giving a thumbs up, so his arm is straight out and there's supports all the way underneath his arm, and I'll show that next. So now with Cura open, it's the same process. We're going to drag our model in. In Cura, it shows you the troubled spots, so everything that's red pretty much needs supports. Under the feet here, I don't know why they're not flat, but it'll generate supports for everything that has red. So we would go to our little menu here. The only things I would really change are, you know, make sure your infill is, you know, about 15 to 20%. You could do 10 if you want it lighter. I like my models to kind of have a little bit of weight to them so they don't feel cheap. And then I'll go with either the trihex, that's just my preference, or the gyroid. So let's go ahead and we'll choose gyroid this time. And then supports. So I do have supports checked. I have normal supports, but I'm going to go with tree. And then Cura works differently than Bambu. In Bambu, the lower the number of the angle, the less infill it produces. But in Cura, the higher the number, the less material it uses. In Cura, I go with 75% just as a default, and then we can go ahead and slice that. Again, the settings are up to you. If you have a preference, you can adjust the settings however you'd like. Bambu Labs are much faster, so this is probably going to be 3 times as long. Bambu was 2 hours and 36 minutes to print, and with this slicer we're looking at 6 hours and 6 minutes. So about 3 times, maybe a little less than 3 times as long, but 6 hours is not bad. And then you can go down here to preview, and it'll show you what it's going to look like with supports. Now, for some reason, it didn't generate supports under the chin, probably because I chose an angle of 75%. So honestly, this will print just fine because of the slope here. It shouldn't need supports here. The nose should be fine too. So if you want to adjust that, if you do want supports underneath the chin, you can do that. But since it's going up at an angle and the nose, you should be fine. And there it is, ready to print. So believe it or not, guys, I didn't want to print that model of me. It was just a sample. But I'm going to show you guys 3 models of my cousins that I did print. You probably saw the images in Meshy, and I'll show them again. Now, I didn't adjust the height, and as you can see, it made them probably life size. The foot barely fits on the print bed, so what I did was printed these to 10% scale, and it was perfect. It came out about 6.5 inches tall. This is my little cousin, one of my cousins. This is Sophia, and I'm gonna bring in 2 models of my boy cousins. Again, I'm gonna have to shrink them down to 10%, and I show you guys how to go ahead and choose the scale right there in Meshy, so you don't have to deal with this. But here's my cousin Stetson that likes to wear bucket hats or fedoras. And one more, his little brother Stetson, or right now his big brother. So let's shrink him down to 10%. Yeah, thumbs up. So he likes to give the thumbs up. So this is where you're going to need supports to support that arm, that hand that's stretched out. But if you just generate supports, it will take care of that. So I'm going to show you guys what these 3 looked like and the painting process so far. Again, I didn't print these all together. You could do that. They do fit on one build plate, but I printed one at a time, and again, that would take about 2.5 hours a piece. I'd like to show this print here that just came off the build plate. This is one of my cousins, and I used his image to create this here. You can see it still has the supports on it. So when I peel these off, I'll go ahead and show it again. And I have another one here with the supports already removed. This is another one of my cousins, and she likes to do side-eye. So on this particular model, she's going to be doing side-eye. I have to paint the eyes in. They're not painted in. So I went ahead with this method. I kept the shoes white because I'm going to be painting them pink with the white soles and the white socks. Then I'm going to paint the pants blue, the shirt pink, the hair black, and also the bow on the head here. In the photo, it was an orange bow. And with this one as well, I did the shoes white. His shirt's also going to be white, but I thought it would just take too much time if I did. You know, it's too many color changes, so I'm going to just paint these models myself. Alright guys, this is where we're at right now. So we could start with my cousin Sophia that does the side eye. I had to paint the eyes in. I got a little bit of pink in the hair, but it's okay because it's going to be painted black. I'll probably go over the pink shirt one more time just to, you know, have another coat there. Also on the shoes, add another coat of pink. Then the hair tie is going to be a different color. The hair is going to be black. But it's looking really good. And then the shorts, of course, need to be painted blue. Then we got this one here, my cousin Stetson. Now, he has curly hair. The hair is coming out really dark here, and his hair is a little thin, but I need to lighten it up. His hair is not that dark, but he does have really curly and thin hair. The sleeve on this side is black, and the shorts, I believe, are black. And the shoes have black in them. The shorts, yeah, the shorts are black. So this is still a long ways away. I have to add the eyeballs, paint the tongue, and the teeth. But that one's coming along really well. And then the one that I've had the most time to paint, my cousin Stetson here, I went ahead with the fedora because, you know, he's more known for wearing fedoras. This is the palm tree fedora, and then he has the brown hair. I have to paint his eyes still, his teeth, the tongue, but I got the shirt, the little logo there, the shorts are done, and I believe the shoes are done. And of course I'm going to end these off with a clear coat. I'm going to do a matte clear. But all in all, you know, the painting is, you know, I would say take your time with it. But they're looking really good. And this is where I'm at right now with the paint, so they'll be done soon. Well, that's it for today, guys. Make sure to leave a comment if there's anything you'd like me to show in the future. And remember, if there's anything you'd like to do, pursue, or create, it's time to get creative.